This is the Coin Show Podcast. The show about coins and coin collecting. And not just any show. This is the #1 coin collecting podcast. Going 10 years strong. Here's Matt Dinger and Mike Nodelman on the Coin Show Podcast.
Well, hey there, friend. What's up?
What's up, buddy? It is episode 167 of the Coin Show Podcast. And on this episode, Matt and I will talk about your coolest things that have walked into your shop.
Or collection or mail,
Yeah,
or, you know.
Kind of you do it, kind of the at-home version of our coolest thing.
Right.
Walk into our shops
Right.
game. We're going to introduce a brand new segment.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
But first, as always, the news. The news is brought to you this week by Screws, helping the world hold everything together since 200 BC. Screws.
Screws, really. I like it.
I screwed that one up, so I'm probably going to have to, give him a a free one.
Speaking of screws.
Yeah. What about him?
Nothing. Not a thing.
Numismaticnews.net is reporting that the U.S. Mint is soliciting dealer opinions on upcoming mint products in an effort to prioritize production.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't really believe that. So, Richard Giedroyc, I can never figure out how to pronounce this guy's name. I'm sure somebody could help me.
Your guess is probably as close as I would have gotten. So
yeah. So Richard writes of the Mint request to unnamed dealers to provide 10-day and 90-day forecasts for demand. I would assume he's talking about Bullion Dealer Network that buys Silver Eagles and the 5-ounce hockey pucks in order to distribute them to the shops and the other small-scale buyers.
I would guess you're probably right. I would think so. I'm not sure what else they would be asking about.
I really don't see anything else that they're asking about demand for. They're certainly not going to know about demand for like upcoming commemoratives, and they're not going to care. Proof sets, none of that stuff. So the only thing that really makes sense, and it just wasn't covered in the story, is that the Bullion Network is likely going to help them figure out, do we need more Silver Eagles? Do we need more 5-ounce hockey pucks?
Right.
Which ones do we need? What do we want?
Right. I'm thinking, if obviously since they sell all that other stuff on their website, I think they would have the best idea on the proof sets, the mint sets, all that stuff. So it almost has to be Bullion.
Yeah, they would. But so he also buried the lead that the Mint may have shifted some unsold first spouse gold coins to these dealers as well. Now, that being a far better idea than melting them or putting them in vaults for an indeterminate amount of time.
Yeah, they did a private bid sale the other last couple, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I read about it. They did a sealed bid sale on some leftover stuff they had.
Okay, so that was more general public.
No. It was open to only select dealers. So it was in an effort to make that stuff go away instead of.
Were these dealers that bought a large quantity of that stuff in the past?
No, I'm thinking that they're probably the bullion sellers, the people that have the contracts with them, and I think they were the ones that got the option to bid on those coins.
Okay. And while the Mint was making requests, they made a public plea that we return coins to circulation. So
please.
We're getting kind of needy, aren't they?
I know. That's a good point.
In response to the recent coin shortages, the Mint is hoping to alleviate the problem in the most efficient way possible, though. I mean, think about this. By trying to restore over 80% of the normal supply of coins back into circulation by a public that is just not spending them at all due to concerns over COVID-19.
Right.
So, I mean, the fact is that the Mint only supplies about 17% of the coin that we see in circulation. And the rest of it is kind of cycled through the system, through the banks, piggy banks, First National, retail stores, who
Coin
in
Star
many
machine.
cases also stopped accepting cash, right?
Yeah.
Gas stations, drugstores, convenience, the whole 9 yards, right? They're all not only stores of, but suppliers of circulating coins. So if they're not accepting it, or if the people are, just dumping it into a change jar at home, this does make a noticeable impact in the amount of coin available. So the mint could never create enough to replace all of it.
Yeah, not any kind of capacity that they're at right now, for sure.
No. So moral of the story is that you should use exact change at the store.
Yeah.
Cash in that change jar at your bank or your local retail store that's asking for change. Maybe it's a bit counterintuitive, but if you spend coins, more coins will be available.
A lot of places aren't even taking them right now, though. That's the thing. Like, I see the signs everywhere.
And they're creating a lot of the problem.
Right.
And particularly, look, if you want to be as germaphobe as absolutely possible, right? I can see where paper money, you might have a problem with that, right? But they've really kind of figured out that COVID is spread more through aerosolized things in people's breath. It's not so much a touch thing. It's not so much a surface thing. And coins, you can literally run under UV light and pretty much kill most of the germs on them.
For sure, yeah.
You can't do that with bills, but you can do it with coins. So, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
One of these things that drives itself. It's a problem that is driving itself. Yeah. It's heading towards the cliff, and everybody's going, "Look, a cliff," but nobody's, doing anything.
I like that.
In U.S. Mint news, the Mint has released the designs for the George H.W. and Barbara Bush designs for later this year. Now, they need to stop making the images so lifelike.
They're scary.
And remember that because of the relief, we don't see the art in the same way as a coin, as we would a drawing or some other non-metallic or matte finish medium.
Right. Like that George Bush drawing is kind of, it's very lifelike, but that's not what the coin's going to look like.
Not at all, and that's the problem. So, Barbara Bush's first spouse design is forward-facing, but somehow not creepy like most of the others.
Yeah, well, Barbara Bush just wasn't creepy. She was like everybody's grandma. So.
Yeah, she was. But George's design has him looking kind of obliquely to your right. The reverse of the Barbara Bush coin features a person reading a book and a path that leads off into the sunset. The open book symbolizes literacy, education, and knowledge. The road symbolizes the future and the journey of life, and the sun in the distance is the promise of a brighter future.
Symbolism.
Yes. Catch it. Coin auctions are heating up as well, despite the rise in COVID cases nationwide. Some events press on. So, such is the case with the PCGS members only show in Las Vegas that coincides with the Stack's Bowers August 2020 Las Vegas auction.
Nice.
So many, many spectacular pieces will be sold, including a 1793 flowing hair cent with wreath reverse in PCGS holder as of EG10. And before you poo-poo the low grade, it is the finest of only 4 pieces.
Yeah, can't go wrong there. Finest known.
Yeah, finest known. BG, doesn't matter. Also for bid is an 1828 cap bust half dollar, graded NGC MS67, also finest known.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so my question is, what would you estimate this to sell at, Matt?
Oh, geez, I don't know. That's a tough coin. Bust quarters in their own right are pretty scarce as far as what you see in a store, so I can only imagine. It's definitely a 6-figure coin.
It's a bust half in 67.
No, it's a bust quarter in 67.
It's a quarter?
Yeah, 1828 bust quarter. Looking right at it.
I have to talk to my editor.
Aren't you your editor?
Never mind. That's not important. And an 1851 Augustus Humbert $50 octagonal gold coin. So it features a reeded edge and 887 thous, which is a statement of its fineness. PCGS has graded the coin as MS64.
I love those things.
Yes. And last but not least, in this auction is a Harrison Marchand bar recovered from the SS Central America. This bar is serial numbered 6536, is 73.1% fine gold, and weighs 14.7 ounces. It's about 21 grand in melt value.
God, I want one of those.
So now my question to you, well, I know who knows where a bunch of them are.
Right.
Yeah. So it's about 21 grand melt. What kind of premium do you think a bar like this will pull?
It's hard to say.
I mean, there's less than 40 of them known.
Yeah. The fact that it comes from the Central America, which is arguably one of the most famous shipwrecks in the world, as far as treasure ships go. I'm guessing that it doesn't break 100,000, but it would not surprise me if it brought 3 or 4 times melt.
That's still 65 grand. That's a bargain.
Yeah, right. Everybody needs 3 of them. I need
For
4.
something that it's not supposed to have existed anymore.
Yeah, right.
Really a relic from the past. And rare coins are not the only thing that's hot at auction right now. So a spring dollar, or more precisely, a 1910 China Yunnan silver dollar sold in June of this year for $660,000 is one of the highest prices ever paid for a Chinese coin of any kind.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
So, the coin was graded by NGC as AU58. They're called spring dollars because the date is written as spring 1910. So it's the first time a season was used as part of the date on Chinese coinage.
That's
and before
cool.
you insert your favorite Chinese counterfeit joke coin here, or coin joke here, the last coin, or this coin, last sold in 2011 for a paltry $546,000.
A paltry $546,000, right?
Yeah, that's just barely worth noticing.
Oh,
Who says anything that comes out of China is worthless?
that's right. Look at that. That's amazing.
The Perth Mint has introduced another innovative coin design celebrating the evolution of industry.
Okay.
So this is Industry in Motion 2020 1-ounce silver gear-shaped antiqued 2-coin set. Say that twice fast.
Huh. Let me see if I can play this. Yeah, there's a video of it here.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Music.
I hear it. It's very intense. Look at that. Well, isn't that fancy? Huh. Well, that's a fancy little coin there.
Yeah, so it's a 2-coin set that, much as you would imagine, fits together into a plastic machine, and once inserted, can be rotated by crank attached to the machine. The coins function as gears, but probably not so much as coins.
Yeah, I'll spend one of those. See what happens.
Yeah. So I applaud the Perth Mint on so many levels with this set, right? I'm fascinated by the simple function as gears in the machine. Now, is this a good enough reason to pay $162 for 2 ounces of silver? Not on your life.
Yeah, well.
You can limit the mintage on these to whatever you like. They chose 1,500. It really didn't matter to the value. This set will be a giant loser on the secondary market for anyone.
You gotta feel like it, right? Who
I
knows, though? Get them certified in slabs that stick into a larger machine, and then that works as another kind of machine.
You can't use them once you slab them.
Right. Ugh.
So I would really like this set at about $75.
Right, for sure.
But at 6 to 7 times melt, I just don't think so.
Yeah, I'm out too.
And then here's another goal. Why not just make them in gold? I mean, if you're going to mark them up so much, why not offer them something truly premium?
Well, if you make them out of gold, you put them in the machine. By the time you scratch them around like that, they're going to be all torn up because gold's so soft. So,
but nobody's going to do that with these things anyway. Come on.
I find it funny that the person in the video does it with gloves on, but they put them in this machine and scrap them around. Right?
They're just picking on the plastic anyway. They're not really touching each other.
Yeah, they're not touching each other, but they're scooting around the top of that plastic thing pretty good. So
they are. I think that would be sufficient to, really not mess up the gold coins too much. But I'm just a marketing guy. Who knows? Northern Ireland has issued a 20-pound polymer note.
Okay.
So this move to polymer makes 3 denominations currently being made in this substrate. So aside from the bills being cleaner and more durable, the polymer actually allows for advanced security features, including like clear windows and tactile features for the visually impaired. So you can, put braille on them. You can do all kinds of things like that.
I like polymer notes. I think they're cool. I wish we would go to them, actually.
Come on, we can't even get rid of the $1 bill. You think we're going to go to polymer notes?
they allow for some super cool technology. Those windows with those layered holograms and stuff that they have on these are super cool.
Yes, I think that eventually we are probably going to be staring down the barrel of polymer notes because they're the most secure things out there.
Yeah.
But we will go dragging and screaming and kicking the entire way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If they don't have a Susan B. Anthony embedded inside of them, then I don't know what's wrong going on here.
Now, the money of the UK has always kind of confused me a bit, right? Because they have one government, but they print notes for Britain, different notes for Scotland, and yet other ones for Northern Ireland, which uses pounds, as opposed to the Republic of Ireland, which uses euros. And despite the fact that they're two totally different countries, have no free trade agreement and no hard borders.
Details.
Yeah. I mean, I understand before all you start writing to me at Mike at CoinShowRadio.com, that's Mike at CoinShowRadio.com. I just don't understand how it works or if it actually works. So more to come on that. It's just strange. I understand they're three different places and largely because they're islands. I guess the currency stays in one place.
Mostly.
Yeah, so to have, Scotland have their own currency, but the whole Northern Ireland thing worries me to begin with.
Well, I think they hashed that out a few years ago. Maybe not.
Well, no, that's the problem. They really haven't. And so you have, because of the Brexit, it's now put a border there. I mean, a real border that you have to pay tax duty and stuff like that to sell things across. And
gotcha.
That's the problem. And the people of Northern Ireland are not really cool with checkpoints and stuff like that. So
I think I've heard that before too.
Yeah, they were kind of uncomfortable with that. Let's see. So more to come on that. We have been reporting on the U.S. government's very open strategy to take the crypto part out of cryptocurrency by trying to break the security and surveil transactions, all under the guise of national security and prevention of international money laundering. Now, I've always kind of felt that the two went hand in hand, and I'm really not sure if I've thought it through completely, but as I'm becoming more aware of cryptocurrencies and the advantages of using them, and I think that maybe I'm putting on my tinfoil hat now, right?
Yep, here it comes, guys. Everybody get ready.
Yeah, but if the big players want the little players to think, yeah, this is so the goofy government can't watch and track my assets and money, I can use this without any trace of my activity. Other than that privacy, I just can't understand why cryptocurrencies are beneficial. And all I can see with that type of privacy is the big player using that anonymity to launder money, proceeds from illegal activities, transfer money from one party to another for the purposes of clandestine or mostly illegal activity. Give me a good reason for cryptocurrency, Matt.
I mean, people like it.
Facilitating a black market and a way to easily launder money.
Yep, I agree.
Is there a real need for it?
It depends on your worldview, man. Not everybody shares your same worldview or my same worldview, and a lot of people don't trust the government. They don't trust, having the ability to be traced and tracked with everything they do, and so I kind of sort of get it, but it's just not that deep to me, I guess.
No, I don't know. I think that this is something where I truly do believe, and like I said, you want to tell me I got my tinfoil hat on. I think that there are people that stand a lot to gain over this happening from a criminal standpoint, and they are they're trying to muddy the waters so that average people see it as more of a mainstream thing.
Right. Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you.
Designs for the Donald Trump Presidential Medal have been recommended by the Commission of Fine Arts and the Citizens Coinage Advisory Committee.
Oh my goodness.
I won't tell you the link. 10 obverse and 24 reverse designs have been recommended. Now, I think his hair is a prominent feature of most of the obverse.
The star. What are you talking about? Look at that.
I want to make fun of the reverse designs, but let's just move on instead. in more ways than one.
So if you get one of those with fully struck hair, is that like, can that be a designation?
Full
FSH?
head. Full head.
Fully struck hair. Wow.
It's
Fabulous hair. It's definitely not that nice in person, I'm sure.
definitely caught his image. I think that he would probably like these. I think the Trump fans are going to like these.
Sure.
Hey, you know, I think maybe it has that kind of. The only thing is that the stern look on his face.
He does look very stern. He does for sure look
fired.
Like you just coughed on him or something. He looks stern.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he looks like CNN just walked in. And finally, in the news, the Royal Mint is reopening the Royal Mint Experience exhibit.
Nice.
So changes made due to the new health and safety regulations will ensure a safe and healthy experience for their visitors, from hand sanitizer stations, new hygiene screens and service counters, and new parking arrangements. The exhibit has been reworked with safety in mind from start to finish. God, this sounds like an ad.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Traffic has been rerouted along a one-way path that creates space between guests to promote social distancing. So, as with many, things in the world, we will return to a more normal life. But I'm afraid that the good old days are exactly that. Days gone by.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Things changed the world forever, and we're just going to kind of adapt.
It is what it is.
It is, and we've always risen to the occasion. We've always figured it out. We'll figure it out again.
That's right. That's right, gosh darn it.
Yeah, get them behind me.
There you go.
So that was the news. The news tonight was brought to us by Screws, helping the world hold everything together since 200 BC. Screws.
I like it.
You're listening to the Coin Show Podcast with Matt Dinger and Mike Nodelman.
I stepped on that one. Do we have any listener questions tonight, Matt?
I don't know. I know we have a pretty banging chat room tonight for the live show. Let's see if anybody's paying attention.
Yeah, that would be.
Let's see if anybody is paying attention tonight. Why don't you log into the email, see if we have anything but... Oh, I see a good question already. We didn't even ask for it yet. So, let's see. Question for Matt. You are... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just, give it to me, baby.
Question for Matt. You are on a numismatic dream team. What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? First things first, I don't think I'm going to make it on any numismatic dream teams. I'm a simple coin guy.
Question?
John Rebick from the Cleveland Coin Expo.
Oh, you are on the numismatic dream team, though.
What are my strengths? I hate talking about myself. I really do. I guess if I had to pick out one strength, I am an idea guy. I'm the guy that comes up with the crazy stuff that sometimes just happens to work. And my weaknesses are sometimes I get a little too involved in things that I shouldn't waste my time on. How's that? Does that make sense? Sometimes I have an idea and I like it, but everybody else hates it, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna keep going, but then it turns out that I hate it too. So that's probably my weakness. Let's see. Let's scroll through here, see if anybody else says out there. You guys in the...
I have a question from Bruce Atwater.
Bruce Atwater.
How can I tell if my mother's treasured 1912 quarter eagle is a proof? It's in a really snazzy old green leatherite case with kind of a felt pouch built into it. It looks immaculate, but does not really have a cartwheel effect in the light.
Huh. So a lot of those early gold proofs, in 1912 is going to be an Indian, right? 1912? Yeah. I want to get a picture pulled up here to see if I can find a picture of a proof for you guys that I can show you here.
Now, I will say in the interim while you're searching for that, Bruce, one of the things that you want to do is you want to look at the rims and the edges of the coin. On a proof coin, they're going to be really, really squared.
Well, you have to realize that these proofs on these 1912 2.5 Indians are not your standard proofs, Mike. They did matte finish. They did not do anything else.
Are they matte finish or are they?
They did some specimen like sandblasty kind of guys.
Finish is what I was thinking. But
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So those things look completely different.
These are Indians, and I didn't think about the fact so these don't have traditional rims.
No.
So they won't have the traditional squared edges.
Right. No, these are matte. These are like they shouldn't have any luster whatsoever. They're really dull. They're kind of like they kind of almost look like felt. If I had to pick a way to describe them, they look very similar to felt across the surface. They're very uniform.
Detail should be extremely, extremely sharp.
Very much so, yes. But odds are, I mean, there's only a few of those known in that series even. So odds are you just have a normal 2.5 Indian. I think there's less. I don't want to quote numbers, but I don't think that there's very many known. 100 or less pieces for sure.
And understood because it's a relatively rare coin.
Oh yeah,
there is reason for people to try to doctor normal, quarter eagles to try and make them look like proofs. So yeah, you really would have to have something like that certified to be absolutely certain.
But like I said, odds are it's just a normal 2.5.
Yeah. And his second question was, I've listened to all the back episodes and either missed your backstory or have forgotten. Can you help a guy out?
Okay, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's the story we've told a couple of times.
The backstory of the show or the backstory of us in general or both?
Well, I mean, both. I mean, that's the backstory of the show is kind of our backstory because it's where we met. I mean, yeah, we kind of knew each other on Coin Talk a little bit. But we just hung out on that forum. And, one day I'm like getting off at 7 a.m. I'm sitting there reading the boards at 8. And, Matt puts a post up first thing in the morning and say, hey, I want to start a podcast. Anybody want to do it with me?
Remember that idea guy thing? That was one of those like 7 ideas I've had that have been really great.
Yeah. Well, it didn't really work out at all.
No.
So he says, hey, dude, I'd love to have you. And we took on another guy. And
Carlton.
Yeah, that guy. And after having, done 20, 25 shows, we just kind of really felt that in order to move the show forward, it just worked better as a 2-man show. And so that was how, we kind of evolved this into that. But, I mean, the reason why I'm here is because I was the first one that asked.
Pretty much. Yeah, the first one that said, hey, I'm in, let's go. So, and then, 10 years later, here we are. Doing video streams live on the internet when it used to be we would get together at 7 or 8 in the morning because Mike worked nights.
Morning.
Mike was working nights, so he would get off early and then have to go to bed there pretty shortly after. So we would get up in the morning and record the show, and then post it later. And then Mike switched professions and actually got it onto a real person schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, but that took a while. It
did.
Took a long time.
It did.
But it's funny if you go back and you listen to like episode 12, you listen to the open. I'm like, this is the Coin Show.
It's
There's no nothing. There's no reverb. There's no sound. There's just I sound so tired.
Yes, that's exactly right. And we had just had our first child at the same time, so it was just basically one big puddle of tired recording a show.
Yeah. And crabby, and it was fun because I remember Matt going out into his car with his laptop to record a show because the baby was crying.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. I recorded one. I can't even remember what episode it was, but it was in the front seat of my wife's car in her minivan.
I mean, we just kind of took the idea of, hey, let's talk coins, and then we kind of, we evolved it. It just turned into some some new and different things.
That's right.
And we're never afraid to try something new. Matt, he's right. He's an idea guy. I would consider myself to be an idea guy.
2 idea guys got together, and here we are. That's what happened. The end. That's the Cliff Notes version.
There you go.
Let's see here. I got another question. It says, what effect has COVID-19 had on eBay coin selling and or buying? You guys do much on eBay?
We do a lot on eBay.
How's it?
We probably have done more on eBay since COVID, simply because it was just another venue.
Right. Well, I mean, when people are stuck at home, people are out of, they're off work. They got to do something, and I feel like a lot of the people jumped on eBay, started perusing, buying coins. We have, we've noticed the numbers have ticked up over the time that we were closed, and even still during our limited hours now, our eBay sales are still pretty strong. So it definitely helped eBay. It's not always going to be like that. I mean, once shops start to reopen and people start to be able to get back out safely and where they feel safe, I think that it's going to kind of taper back off a little bit. But at the moment, we're just kind of riding the wave and enjoying the bump in sales. So,
well, you've always done a fair chunk of change on eBay. I mean, I was impressed by the numbers that you quoted me for when you first bought the store.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean,
that was nothing.
What you do every month is, I mean, that's something actually. That would be a full-time job.
We did. Yeah, I mean, not necessarily on eBay, but there was one day last week where we did as much business as we did all of the last year that the old owner owned the store before we bought it. So, one day versus 1 year.
It's amazing.
Pretty amazing.
I thought I had another question, but it actually was just sales.
Oh, wah. I got a couple more here.
This guy's a quick question for Mike. How would you like to be? You're probably getting a lot of these emails, but do you want to get booked as a guest on a world-class podcast that fits your brand?
No, go away. Thanks.
Nothing fits my brand. My brand is going to be pink hair in a couple of months if you guys can respond.
Yep. Go subscribe. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thecoinshow. If we get 750 subscribers, Mike was going to dye his hair pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month for the entire month.
Actually, we announced that last episode, right? Yeah. On 166. And I made a mistake. I said that Breast Cancer Awareness Month was September.
I believe it's October.
It's October. So that gives you an extra 30 days to get it done.
Yep. And it's, people are responding. I think we got 45 or 50 more subscriptions on YouTube. And if I have to, I am going to go create a bunch of email addresses and do it myself, just because I want to see you with pink hair.
That's it's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's going to happen.
All right, let's see. I got a few more questions shooting in here from the different chats. Are Mercury dimes hot right now? Not overly, but it's a series that some people still like. So I mean, there's nothing. They haven't increased in demand in the last year or so. I've noticed, but it's a semi-popular series that people tend to like. It's got some cool varieties in it. So I mean, overall, it's a popular series. I just don't think that they're hot right now. I wouldn't call them hot, but I wouldn't call them cold either. Let's see. Another question. Have you seen premiums on American Silver Eagles go down as silver prices go up? Have you seen demand slow down at all? The answer to that question...
Broke questions.
Yeah, there are two questions there. First question is, have the premiums gone down as silver has gone up? Unfortunately, no, they have not. They've increased, if anything, because...
Replacement for what's out there is it's impossible to locate.
Well, and also not all the shops are back open yet. So, you have this supply that is low, and then you have the prices going up, creating an increasing demand. And then there are not places to fulfill that demand at this point. So the premium's going up. We have to pay more to buy them. I try to order some. They're going to cost me a certain amount of money, and that hasn't changed.
We are buying a butt ton of just generic silver right now because, it's silver at the end of the day.
Yeah, right, for sure. And then have we seen demand slow down at all? No. It's 104th of July right now.
Yeah, it's funny because at $11, well, okay, at $11 it was a different story, but at $17 you could give stuff away.
Right.
24 now, and people come in every single day and buy just tons of it.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't get
it. Yeah. Here's another question.
When it's low, and sell it when it's high.
And that, well, yeah, but it tends to be the opposite way when you're in a store. When it's high, everybody wants it, and when it's low, nobody's calling about it. You have a pile of it.
You're right.
Let's see here. I collect new and old silver dimes. Also chasing W mint mark coins. Good idea or not? I mean, silver dimes are always good because, you know, if anything at all, they're still going to be silver. And then the W mint mark coins, I kind of like that new stuff. It was fun the way they dropped it with a Great American Coin Hunt and kind of getting on board with that. And now that they're continuing to do it, I think it's really cool. It's kind of a manufactured rarity because they're only minting so many, but they are releasing them into circulation. So that brings back the joy of going through coins again and trying to find what you're looking for. So
the only disappointment I have in this program is how people have kind of wrecked it, like they do everything else, right? The idea of minting W minted quarters and then throwing them into circulation is the only way to get them was absolutely ingenious. But you know, unfortunately, people have corrupted the system now to the point where they're kind of hoarding the new quarters. They're searching all the things, and I see people that are selling rolls of them. Rolls of W mint quarters, and it's like, hold on a second. You know, it's like, how's this guy over here got rolls and rolls and rolls?
I always look at those programs and I think to myself, the first thing in my head is, can I make a buck off of this? And I mean, that's just the coin dealer in me. But you know, if you look at a program like that, I could sit there and go to the bank and get a bunch of boxes of quarters and sift through them for these things and sell them and make money for sure. So that's kind of where the fact that they're dropping them into circulation just makes it harder to make money on them. But you know, there are people out there with nothing better to do than, especially right now, and you know, the past few months, nothing better to do than to sit around and go through boxes of quarters. So,
all change,
yeah,
all day long.
Go for it. Good on you.
You know, personally, I think that roll collecting is something, or roll searching is something it can be fun, and it can be profitable. I just wish that people would do it more for, you know, I mean, the collection end of it rather than trying to make a buck.
Well, you know how it is these days. Everybody wants to make a buck.
I get it. You know, I mean, look, I got to be grateful for the people that want to make a buck because they make the stuff that we're interested in valuable.
Right. I mean, if a guy sits there at his house and goes through a bunch of quarters with his kid, even if they're just trying to find it to make a profit, you know, that's still that kid sitting there with his parent or whoever having a good time looking at coins, and that's what it's all about. So, as much as I don't like, you know, that, I still do see that silver lining. So, I guess there's that. All right. I think that's it for the questions tonight. Unless you got any more?
No, that was it. That was all I had.
All right. Well, I'm going to bump us out of this segment.
You're listening to the Coin Show Podcast with Matt Dinger and Mike Nodelman.
And it's time for something brand new on the Coin Show Podcast. Actually, it's really not new.
Yeah, no, not new.
Old, I just want to throw a title on.
Okay.
Because since February, when I started working at Harlan-Berg, you know, we've been talking a lot about, hey, Mike, what's going on in the shop? So,
yeah,
I figured that we'd kind of package it as in the shop.
In the shop.
In the shop. So this is just, hey, what's going on in the shop?
What's going on in the shop,
Matt,
buddy? Should I just ask you like that?
Tell me what's going on in your shop. What's going on in the shop right now?
I like it. I don't hate it. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. So let's figure this out here on the live show because that's how we roll, right?
That is how we roll. Just go out there and do it. No, so like, Mike, what's going on in the shop?
Hey, Mike.
Right now?
What's been going on in the shop lately? Anything good?
Well, I mean, what we've been doing was we went through a collection of large sets.
Okay.
And I mean, the typical other stuff that comes with it, you know, commemorative halves, dollars,
right,
stuff like that. But the large sets themselves were really, really interesting and were a fairly decent collection For me, it was a good learning experience. It was a really good interaction between me and Bob, who he's been doing this for like 50 years. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that he can teach me. There's some things he just can't teach me,
Right.
like learning surfaces and knowing what something has been messed with looks like.
Yeah.
You have to know what something that looks correct looks like.
That just comes from years and years and years of doing it, unfortunately.
Yes, and so look, it's not like I've never seen a coin before I came into the business, but it's not the same. As a collector, you just don't see the volume that you see on a daily basis when you do it for a living.
Yep, that's right.
And so I have to say that in that perspective, that has changed. Did we have a pool running to see how long it would take Mike to get jaded?
No, but we should have. That was a great idea.
Absolutely should have.
How long has it taken? Are you there yet?
6 months. I mean, I'm not completely jaded, but I do every once in a while mumble tire kickers, kind of walk away.
Jeez, dude, I don't even do that. I feel like I'm ultimately jaded. Wow.
Look, I love dealing with people, and I love talking to people.
Except tire kickers.
I didn't have to. Pardon me?
Except tire kickers.
I don't. I wish that I didn't have to put my life on the line to do it with people. To talk to them about stuff. But beyond that, it's interesting because I get just something different every day, right?
Right.
And I deal with people, everything from, hey, I had a lady come in today and she had a bunch of foreign stuff and she had a bunch of pennies and she had a bunch of, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, so how you pick out the silver? So I'm picking, I'm not finding any silver.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is pennies and there's a couple of Susan B's and it's mostly nickels and dimes. I'm like, then she's like, oh, and I've got this bag of pennies. She dumps a thing of corroded cents on the counter. And I'm like, yeah, no, I can't really do anything with those. So it's like, well, that was really nice. I appreciate you bringing them in. It's like, and I kind of told her, this all just changed. Take it to the bank, see what they can put into your account or pay you for.
Oh, man.
Yeah, let the rest go by. And
the joys of being a coin dealer.
Yeah, she was like, I really appreciate you taking it. I never mind spending time with people.
Right.
I really don't. No, I don't know what I'd define as a tire kicker, but it was just, I did mumble that today.
I feel like a lot of people that don't do this every day, and there are a lot of people out there that sell coins out of their homes, out of their vest pockets, and that's fine. That's where I started. And I feel like people that aren't in a shop every day don't necessarily understand that particular part of the job or the business, because I think that sometimes people think, oh, all these amazing coins come in all the time. You guys are so lucky. And it's like, yeah, but I had to buy 90,000 no-date Buffalo nickels and 47,000 wheat pennies and a bucket of green Indian head pennies. And I had to sort through 800 foreign coins for 3 silver coins. And, it's just like stuff like that. That's the other part of the job that they don't see. And it still has to get done, and it still has to happen. So, like I said, I love being a coin dealer. I love it. It's my calling in life, but it's not as glamorous as some people might think.
My favorite part of it is actually dealing with the people, because right. I value every single customer that walks in the door, and it doesn't really matter whether or not they buy anything. It's really more kind of their intent. It's like, are they there to try to either learn something or try and move something forward,
right?
Or just kind of wasting time,
right, yeah.
And the one thing that I don't think that a lot of people understand is, and I sure didn't until I got into the shop, people in coin shops are really busy. They got a lot of things that they're constantly doing because there's not a lot of people in the shop.
Yeah. And
so every task that needs to be done has to be done by somebody. And so, that means, like today, for me, it was going through the junk silver.
Right.
And I mean, I had to look through it to see if there was anything worth, and there wasn't, but I had to look through it before we burned it all.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to. I've done it before. When we're really, really busy at the office, I kind of, point people in a direction And sometimes I sit there and go through junk silver just because that's what needs done. It's not glamorous. It's not, I'm sure my talents could be spent elsewhere doing other things, but sometimes that's just what needs done.
A bunch of Mercury dimes, and I was looking, and my boss looks at me. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm looking for 42s so I can check for overdays." And he's like, "Just put it down." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "You don't have time." He says, "The amount of time that you would take to find a single coin isn't going to be worth me paying you to do it."
I have found 17 42 over 1Ds in 90%.
But he's like, "We don't have time to do it.
Yeah.
Let somebody else find it."
Yeah. That's the difference between you being an employee and me being the family ownership.
Can't make that decision.
Right.
Great.
Exactly.
So, but I mean, in the shop, things are really cool. We're starting to open up a little bit more, so more people are coming in. Our displays have now gone from just kind of everything stuffed into one case right in the front to now starting to creep out into the other two cases. There's a couple more cases to go, to get the full stretch of what's going on. But yeah, we've gone from one case to 3, and next is 5. And
cool. Well, that's good to hear. We're kind of in the same boat. I mean, we're opening slowly. We're doing appointments several days a week, and then we're open to the public Friday and Saturday for walk-ins. And then anything else right now is appointment only. Just kind of, as I've said before, trying to keep everybody safe. That we employ, because we employ some high-risk guys that are in their 70s, and we want to keep them safe. So. Well, cool, man. I like that segment. Let's do that more often. Let's talk about what's going on. I can't wait until something really fun happens, though, like you screw up or you buy a wonder coin. Well, yeah, but we've only talked about that.
Talk about it.
No, well, yeah, that's all part of it. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
No.
Yeah, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly on this segment, buddy.
No. You'll see that when I get fired. Then we'll talk about the ugly. Know that I am perfect.
All right. Well, do you want to jump into this last one here? I think what everybody's been waiting for all night. No? Yes? No? Maybe so?
What have we been waiting for all night?
Everybody's been waiting to see their coins, of course, that they posted on our friend of the Facebook, or friend of the Coin Show Facebook page. Yeah. So normally we do our coolest things, but lately we've been kind of involving you guys, which has been fun and awesome, and we really love to see what you guys have. So I'm stalling right here to let Mike get a chance to open up his browser so that he can see what I'm looking at.
Thank you. I really do appreciate it.
You're welcome. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and pull this up, guys, and we'll take a look at your coolest thing. So at the top of the page here, you can see me and Mike sitting there with Q David Bowers at the live show a few years ago. Well, let's scroll down a little bit.
And there's a Harrison March shot bar on that table.
There is, right there. Yeah, I can see it.
Really?
Let's see.
So,
first
Jack
up, First up, I see a 1964D Daniel Carr issue. So this is one of the 1960, supposed 1964D peace dollars. Daniel Carr redid them and then struck them over original peace dollars to make them legal, I believe. And this one has been graded MS-70 by ICG. That's a cool piece.
Yes. So what Daniel Carr always makes sure he does is if it's a peace dollar he's striking, he strikes it over a peace dollar. If it's a Morgan he's striking, he strikes it over a Morgan. I own a beautiful 1933 Buffalo nickel, and it was struck over another Buffalo nickel. So what he does is it never inflates populations or anything else like that. It doesn't create something that doesn't already exist.
And he also, I believe he marks them as well, with his special D.
There is always something, but in a lot of cases, it is merely just the fantasy date.
Right.
So in the example of 1975 Ike dollars, there's no marking on it.
Yeah.
But the 64D peace dollar, I think might have a DC on it somewhere. I do know that the 09 proof Silver Eagle that he made definitely had a DC as a mint mark.
Yep. And the reason he does that is because he does really freaking good work. His stuff looks identical. So Does good work. Jerry, let's see what Jerry has here. Put together a 38-64 Jefferson short set in Unk and proof.
Yeah, and proof. Don't forget that.
Sorry, I was reading. I didn't see that second line. And this says, here's my favorite part of the set, the early proofs. Ooh, this is right up your alley, Mike.
Yeah, because I like early proof coins, and I own a 42 Type 1 proof of my own. I've just always liked these. These were at a time when the coins were sold individually. You could buy a complete set, but you could also buy just the single coins. And so the miniatures are kind of all over the place.
Cool, I like those. Let's see what else here. Oh, your boss posted. You want to read this one?
No. Okay, so Mark Anthony.
Yeah.
36 BC. It's a Tetradram. It is 14.41 grams.
Now you get to the hard part.
Has some very Greek stuff written on the front. This is a diadem draped bust of Cleopatra.
Okay.
And then it has more Greek writing. The Baron of Anthony, detailed and forceful portrait of Cleopatra with her name in Greek. See, there you go. Very clear. This one is somewhat porous, as are almost all surviving examples of this issue. And even though it's porous, it would be about EF. Very cool coin. You know, this is Anthony and Cleopatra, but this is real Anthony and Cleopatra.
Yes, the real Anthony and Cleopatra. Yep.
Yeah, we're not talking about Richard Burton and Liz Taylor here.
Bjorn posted a cool coin. Check this out, Mike. You're gonna like this. Well, I'm gonna like this, but this is a 1990D Lincoln cent struck on a 3.1 gram bronze planchet. So, Mike, you want to explain how that one happened?
Well, there's only two ways that it can happen. And that is if there was a blank that hung around for 7 years, somewhere hidden in some crevice, that got knocked loose into a tub of planches before it was struck. Or a mint employee dropped an already struck penny into.
No, because, I mean, if it was already struck, you'd be able to see the underlying design elements. It had to have been a blank when it went into the machine.
Yes. So you're correct. So it either was a previously struck blank dropped into the machine, or a planchet that had been, left behind somewhere.
Because in theory, these planchets have been gone from the mint for, as Mike said, 7 years. So to find that coin is really, really rare and really, really cool. So super cool coin.
Well, the fact that anybody would even look to notice, that's kind of
right.
Put a penny in your hand and go, wow, this feels heavy.
Good eyes on somebody, or good thinking on somebody to find that coin.
Yeah, because I think it may very well have been the color that gave it away.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, probably.
Could have been one of those people that was doing the copper sorting. I know that was a thing a while ago. They would actually make machines that would sort out the coins by weight between copper and zinc, and maybe that coin shot through one of those machines and got discovered that way. It's hard to say.
That's possible, too.
Let's see. Joshua Steele, love my Type 2 dollar. I love your Type 2 dollar, too.
Type 2 Indian Princess.
Probably my favorite Indian Princess design. That design, is on the Type 2 gold dollar and also on the $3 gold piece. So both very cool coins that I like a lot.
So the $3 gold piece is really just two recycled designs. That's what you're telling me.
Very much so.
Okay. Cody Regan Knitter, an Iowa Red Seal with great pen SIGs. Only 95 Red Seal 10s are known from the state of Iowa.
Cool. I do like those signatures.
Central Bank of Burlington.
Those are cool signatures. Those
are very cool.
Those paper money guys are nuts, though.
Well, that was back when a signature was a signature, right?
Right. My signature today is a kind of a squiggle that looks like an M with a dot above the rest.
I was going to say it hardly looks like a signature.
It's not. It's not a signature.
Andrew Edelman, recent pickup for my lowball commem set, and he has a 26 Sesquicentennial and pour.
And PCGS pour 1. Wow.
That is a coin.
Somebody has rubbed almost all the luck off that coin, but not quite.
Here's the thing: is I wonder, Andrew, did you find that, or did you buy it like that?
Andrew's a dealer, so I'm assuming that he bought it like that.
Okay, because if he bought it like that, he paid a hefty premium.
Yeah, super cool. Rob Post, a 1917 Type 1 in AU58 CAC. Cool coin. That's one of those everyman coins.
It is. It's a really nice coin. 58, probably, in my opinion, probably the greatest grade.
Oh, yeah. It's probably
no question.
the most attractive grade that's not mint state. Because a lot of coins in AU58 holders look like MS62s, and a lot of coins in MS62 look like junk. So,
our friend, the Slab King, Isaiah Hageman, definitely my 2019 NGC Instagram giveaway Silver Eagle sample slab. It's one of 15.
cool.
Extremely rare. Yeah, it looks like an American flag. That is a cool looking holder.
That is a cool looking
That is
holder.
definitely, that's a buy the plastic.
Well, but when you're the slab king, the guy that studies slabs and speaks on counterfeit slabs and does all of that, then that is pretty much your thing, is the plastic. So there you go.
But if you're going to have plastic, that's plastic to have.
That's plastic. Here we go. Jeff says, one of your earlier episodes inspired me to put together a grading set. Jeff, I love you. So here is my finished one for 1939 D Jefferson Nichols.
Wow, that's great.
I really enjoyed this as it's short but challenging. And his next stop is a 1913 Type 1 Buffalo Nickel.
So it's going to do a grading set of that. And you know what? Grading sets are cool. And I had never heard of them until you covered them on the show that one day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I just something that I heard about somebody doing, and I was like, you know what? That sounds like a heck of an idea. I'm going to do that. So I did.
And so then I want to say it was last year. Maybe the year before, but I think it was last year. I gave a talk to the Elgin Coin Club here in Elgin, Illinois.
Yeah.
And we talked about grading sets. And Howard, my buddy, brought in his grading set of walking halves.
Oh, cool.
8 Ds.
38 Ds. Yeah, well, it's a better coin, so cool. I love that idea.
I think there was a reply to Slab King saying that Sean Parker, I had one of 15 samples with the black slab for the 15,000 giveaway. His is only a proof Ike dollar, not silver, but it does have the Apollo 11 anniversary label, which fits the mission patch themed reverse.
Well, see, that's and I actually really enjoy seeing that. I like seeing people sharing their coins not only with us but with each other and engaging in that conversation. So cool, guys. I like to see that.
Absolutely.
Let's see. We'll get down here to Michael. He says he is still working on his 20th century typeset. Based on an article in Coin World from about 8 years ago, the idea is to obtain the best example of each 20th century non-gold type going for around $100 per coin, accounting for rarity collectability when possible. The issue was tough because it gets expensive fast above fine. I couldn't pass up this beautiful 17 Type 1. He stretched a little, okay, a lot. Now I know why this is taking so long.
You know, it's funny because when I started collecting as an adult,
yeah,
I started collecting type. And it was just what I wanted to do. And I love 20th century type. It's why the 20th century is still very romantic to me and why I like these coins that most people really care less about. And that was my thing, is that, if you're going to collect 20th century type, you have to set a ceiling at where you're going to go.
Yeah.
Because it gets my hand quick.
Yes.
I wanted to do one that was all key dates
good Lord.
In MS.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
It's not going to happen. So then as I started really learning about the coins, then I started lowering my expectations a little bit. And eventually it got to the point where it's like, well, it'd be nice to have the key date in any condition. And that got scrapped too, because the ONS quarter is a killer.
Yes, for sure.
A 16D, okay. I mean, there's just a couple in there that are just
stoppers. Hardcore stoppers is what we call those. All right, let's move on. Corey has an 1808 East India 10 cash shipwreck coin from the Admiral Gardner, which sank with a fleet of 3 ships destined to the East Indies from London in 1809.
Yeah, so what I like about this coin is that one side is printed in English and one side in Arabic.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it looks like it's actually on a slab too.
Yes,
Cool.
NGC,
Cool. Like that.
genuine. Michael Ryan, Italy, Papal States, Scudo.
Scudo. That's a
That's
weird.
kind of this is Pius the Seventh. So 1816.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool coin.
that's a long time ago. Sean, newest purchase, 1723 halfpenny from Ireland. King George the First on the obverse.
Yeah. Yeah. I like those.
Yeah, those are really cool.
I like British copper because a lot of that stuff floated around during the during the colonial period in the United States. The Woods Hibernian pieces, which this might be. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, he said this is a Hibernian piece.
Okay, so there you go. So this was a piece that was probably circulated in the United States in colonial times and just after, and because the fledgling United States really was not minting to capacity and to a number and which was needed at the time. So they circulated a lot of English coins and tokens and all sorts of stuff. Just as long as it was copper and close to what a penny should be worth, they circulated it. So
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of things were really equivalent size anyway.
Yep.
They had all sorts of different denominations, but when it came down to it, and I'm really kind of discovering this, that a pence is two pennies.
yeah,
Okay, and so I mean, there's all this equivalency. So I mean, with all the different English, particularly English copper coins that there were, it's easy to find some equivalent in either a U.S. or Canadian or whatever.
all right. Joe Bohannon paid $10 for this in an eBay auction. Just found it cool. Seriously considering building a typeset with things like this in hobo nickels.
Yes.
1822 cent with Liberty smoking a pipe. I love it.
Yeah, she had a little bit of a rough night.
Yeah, it looks like she lost an eye, maybe.
But it's an 1822 cent, which is very, very cool.
Right.
And I like it. One of the things that I saw, I want to say on eBay, it's either eBay or maybe it was Virtual Coin Show or one of those places that had a complete set with the exception of like 3 coins of a complete Buffalo nickel set by date and mint mark.
Yep.
Nickels.
Yep. Chris Dempsey owns that. It is probably the premier hobo nickel set in the world. It's amazing.
That was really, really cool.
He has a 3-legger that's made into a hobo nickel. He has an 18/17 that's made into a hobo nickel. One of like 2 known, and I think the 3-legger is the only one known, maybe.
Yeah.
Amazing. Joe Mcneil has a odd type coin set, and all of them are hold. I love it. Is a 1/2 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent silver, 3 cent nickel, and a 20 cent piece, all with holes in them.
I think I could probably put one of these together with stuff that's in my box next to my.
Yep. Jordan Miller posts a picture of him. Let's see, what's Jordan doing? Oh, I know what he's doing. He's collecting a paycheck.
No explanation.
Yep. Mark says, my 7-year-old daughter wants to show her oldest coin. It's Roman. Well, Mark, I love that. And I love it when kids collect old coins.
Absolutely.
And Mike, being that you work for probably one of the premier ancient dealers in the country.
Things that I'm coming to discover about ancient coins.
What's that?
Is that the people that love ancient coins love them because you can hold them, you can touch them, you can feel them, you can't hurt them.
That's right. Mark, I'm going to send you a message later. I'm going to send your daughter something even older. Just because.
There you go.
Sean says, update from today's mail. He got a 2019 Pennsylvania polio vaccine sample.
American Innovation Dollar.
Yeah, American Innovation Dollar. And this was a sample slab that looks like it was supposed to go to the World's Fair of Money that was canceled.
Woohoo! Yes, World's Fair of Money. So this is like my baseball from the 1994 World Series.
Yeah, well, that's funny. Isn't that the year that they had the strike or whatever?
And there was no World Series. That's
Yeah.
right. I have a ball from that World Series.
That's awesome. Cool. Super cool.
So Jack Lamb, posted something from 100 years before he was born. So this one is
It's a British crown.
It's a crown, okay, because I knew it was silver, I knew it was British, but I didn't know the denomination because it's not marked, it's done by size, right?
Yep, done by size on those. It's a British crown, it's about the size of a silver dollar. Comparable in weight, I believe, fairly close.
Yeah, but they're sterling.
Yeah, yep. And then they have King George slaying the dragon on the back, sign of kind of the British might.
Yeah, you will see that on the sovereigns in gold.
Yep.
Justin Irvin. Justin Irvin. The coolest thing this month is my dog asking for a treat. You know what?
That's a cute dog. Yeah.
That's right. Give him something. Quit making him beg.
Charlie, let's see what Charlie has. Won this the other night. It's in the mail now. PCGS MS65. Is this one of those?
1968 1 shilling from New Zealand.
I feel like this could be a mule. There's some mules in that particular time period that they accidentally made. I don't know if it is or not. I'm not obviously an expert in New Zealand coinage, but for some reason that sticks out to me as being one of those countries and date ranges that they have mules made.
Sure.
Because I think they had the wrong denomination dies in on one side and they struck with the other. Again, I could be wrong. He could just really like 1968 one shillings.
The wrong country of origin too.
But the fact that it's in a PCGS holder, that might be it too. But the fact that it's in a PCGS holder leads me to believe it's probably a mule. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before today.
And our longtime friend Barry Swan, he posts a. I just love the thought of a mischievous mint worker with a random San Francisco mint punch in hand.
That's right. And
he shows he has a Superbird.
So if you don't know about the Superbird, now it's hard to see in these pictures, and I'm not sure we'll be able to even pick it up.
Yeah, I can't even really see it.
No, can't really see it in that picture. But the cool thing about this particular coin is right on the chest of the eagle, right about where that light spot is, you can see here in the picture, there is what appears to be a little S. And they call it the Superbird because it's right on the eagle's chest, and it makes him kind of look like Superman. So, yeah, super neat little coin. They don't really know how they were made. That is one of the theories that Barry brings up, that a mischievous mint employee kind of just tapped it a little bit and left the impression. But there are other theories as well.
It was made in Philadelphia, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a proof coin. It's a proof coin, so it had to be made in Philadelphia. But that is kind of one of the trains of thought out there, is that it was made on purpose by accident. If you're picking up my drift.
Yeah.
So cool. Thank you guys. I love this segment, Mike. This is probably my new favorite segment of our show.
I love when they show us their coolest things. So.
Because the funny thing is, I actually forgot about this until this morning, and I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and post something. And you guys came through huge. So we really appreciate that. I love looking at your stuff. We're going to keep doing this for as long as I can manage it. And
love the variety in this. There's a little world, there's a little modern, there's a little country, a little rock and roll.
Yeah, that's the best part, is it's a little bit of everything. And just like you guys that listen to the show, if we can't cover something you like, then show us something that you like, and we'll get it on the show for you.
There you go.
So, thank you very much, guys.
What's your favorite out of all of these?
Oh, geez, I can't pick one of these. Are you kidding?
Yeah, it's like picking kids.
Oh, I love them all equally, Mike.
Sure. I think the lowball sesquicentennial might.
It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool.
That is really cool.
But I'm not gonna pick.
No, nor would I say it was my boss's coin.
Oh.
That would be just blatant.
Oh, well. Another one in the books, buddy. 167.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah, and this one, they got their money's worth.
Yeah, we're really chugging along tonight. We were just knocking it out.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
things. We did some fun things. And,
speaking of fun things, if you guys didn't catch what happened on the last supporter episode of the podcast, holy cow, you guys are missing out. My feet still hurt.
I will tell you this. It might have been the best episode without question, is the best episode of not the Coin Show podcast ever.
And for you guys that are asking yourselves, what the heck is not the Coin Show podcast? We have a Patreon. You can see it right down here. When we don't do this show every other week, we do another show, and we call it Not the Coin Show podcast. And it's just available to people that support
this show.
It's not this show. It's just us.
Not show at all.
But we do another show, and it's available to people that help support our show here. And if you guys are seeing this on a place that you don't normally see this on Facebook, that's part of where your support dollars are going to. Stuff like that to help the show just kind of expand and get out there to more people and to bring you guys more fun stuff. So, but we played a little game last show on Not the Coin Show podcast. It was painful for both of us.
It pushed me.
I did.
Let's tell it like it is.
It was so bad. I sent Mike a supply list, and I said, Mike, you got to have all this stuff tonight. And it was a pretty wacky supply list, but you got to watch the show to see it.
Yeah.
But it was pretty fun. It was pretty awesome.
And it's definitely something we would never do on this show.
Never, ever. No, I almost cussed a couple times.
Yeah, you did. And I was egging it on the whole time.
Oh, boy, you were. Yeah. All right.
So we'd like to take a minute to thank Justin for all the work that he does, to thank Ernesto for all the work that he does. Both of them, do a really great job with their social media. Our Instagram page is loaded with new coin pictures, isn't it, Matt?
It gets them every once in a while.
There you go.
Yeah.
And this podcast right now is streaming to like 5 or 6 different places.
I think it's 7 different pages. We also have it on YouTube. So
yeah. So there's plenty of places for you to check it out. If you would like to see me with bright pink hair, bright pink hair, highlighter pink hair, all you got to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel. If we get 750 subscribers by September 30th, I will dye my hair highlighter pink.
I will pay for that dye.
Month of October.
I'm so excited for this. I really
That's
am.
going to be great. It's going to be great. I have to find somebody to do it, though. But no, it's absolutely going to be done. You know what the funny part is so after I made the announcement, right, that I would do it. See, I already kind of had some okay from my boss,
right,
but you don't understand that he's my boss, right? And I mean, he's just my kind of immediate boss. My real boss is Aaron, who's the owner of the name, right? He's the owner of he's the
supreme commander of coinage.
Asset, right? Well, it's like I start thinking, well, how's Harlan going to react? Then I started thinking about that. And I was like, so I went to Aaron and I'm like, yeah, Aaron. So, this is what I got in mind. This one. He's like, just tell him what it's for. He'll be cool. I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, he's really cool like that. I'm like, okay, great.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the guy that I think it was the first week I worked for him. I was wearing a bright purple dress shirt. I think it looks like his nice shirt.
There you go. See?
What are you going to do?
You got a cool boss.
Yeah, I do. All 3 of them are pretty cool, actually.
All right. Well, I guess then, you got anybody else you need to thank?
No, just everybody who listened, everybody who inspired us, everybody who has contributed to something along the way. Thank you to all the people who posted their stuff for their coolest thing. Without you guys, that segment goes absolutely nowhere. So, I would expect very soon we are going to be looking at, tonight we almost did a What's Mike Reading?
Almost did.
But I got like 3 books that I'm reading right now.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm reading this book on sample slabs. I'm reading a different book on Canadian coins. And I just picked up an A&A correspondence course on minting and the minting process. And if you remember the A&A courses that they had online a couple of weeks ago, I took those, but I really wasn't available for them, so I'm still going back and watching those.
Nice. Well, heck, you sound like just a busy old coin fella, don't you?
I think I've got a little on my plate, but I'm learning a lot, and that is making my life in the shop so much better.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We appreciate you tuning in tonight, and we'll see you in a couple weeks for the next episode of the Coin Show.
Yeah. Talk to you next time. So long, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
You've been listening to the Coin Show podcast with Matt Dinger and Mike Nodelman. The boys will be back soon with another informative and entertaining episode. Meanwhile, you can follow the show on social media at The Coin Show on Twitter and Instagram, and on Facebook at facebook.com/The Coin Show. You can also join their private group. Just search Facebook groups for Friends of the Coin Show and request access. But if you want to take it to the next level and support the Coin Show podcast, you can go to www.patreon.com/The Coin Show. If you subscribe at the $5 a month level or higher, you'll have access to Not the Coin Show podcasts on the off weeks, as well as other surprises reserved for our patrons. Visit our website at coinshowradio.com or download our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you download your podcasts. This has been the Coin Show Podcast.